Hello, everybody. It's your buddy Yomada here, and today we're playing Vintage Story. We're continuing on. There's going to be a few things that have changed. If you haven't noticed, you can probably hear me now. Went ahead and got myself a better mic. Yeah, I'm going to work on a few things, learn how to be a better YouTuber.
What is he doing?
He's beginning to believe.
But anyways, as it is, I have realized that as much as I wanted to make this a pure gameplay, I have started to make this into a tutorial by accident, because I like to explain things for some reason. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to tell you all how to, since I have the resources and the time now to do so, how to start the game, as if you just spawned. Now you guys know where I'm at already. I'm not going to lie about it. We are in the same server. But I'm going to start off in an area over here as if, you know, we didn't exist.
In the beginning, there was nothing.
So, a couple things to start off. Exploration is key. You are going to have to run around and you are going to have to find materials. But when you first start, you're not going to have anything. I do have things on me. And that's just to help keep me alive enough, at least long enough to show you guys what's going on here. So now we're going to pretend that we just started off over, and that's a ram, over here. Okay. So anyways, this is Vintage Story. To start off the game, the first thing you want to do is get something for tools. Now, you can do stone. I've seen people do stone, but only certain stone, I believe, gives you tools. It has to be hardened tools. So, as if you're starting off here, say you just spawned in, there's two things you're going to want to do. You're going to want to get food. Berries, in particular, is by far your best food source when you first start off. Right-click, grab some berries, and eat them. Now, these are honeysuckle. These are not in the vanilla version. If you hit I think I've showed you guys this before, it does show you your nutrition. Now, granted, mine is very high. This gives you more health. I have started off the game with 20 health. It's an option that you can choose. And that it gives you a little bit more survivability. I've also chosen the class of the Malefactor. I think it's or Malefactor. That gives you the ability to get more stuff, I guess, from harvesting and whatnot. I do suggest that for newbies, but that's just my suggestion. It's not something you have to do, obviously. This right here is going to be the second thing that I highly suggest that you look for, is loose flint. It's typically whatever stone color is in the area. Under here, that means there's going to be clay stone, as you can see from this basic clay stone, but you're also going to see these little dark blobs. Here, this is going to give you loose flint. So when you pick this up, you're going to go ahead and get flint. I have a lot of flint already. Flint, I think I've showed you guys how to nap already, but in case you guys don't know, the second thing that you want to get is a knife. So let's go ahead and knock out this real quick here. As of 1.18, you only get one knife blade down, but they did double the durability. Another thing you want to get is sticks. I already have sticks on me. Some flint. Always gather. When you first start off, just gather a bunch of flint. You're going to be making a lot of tools out of it. You might as well have an inventory. Anyways, you're going to look for sticks. Sticks are best found in these little birch branchy leaves. Now, you can find them in woods. They're on the ground. They do appear on the ground in wooded areas, and forested floors, and whatnot under trees. However, in this case here, we're going to go ahead and get it from this branchy leaves. Now, you can use that knife that you have, if you have a knife, to get more. I believe it makes it faster, but in this case, we're going to pretend that we didn't get any sticks yet. So, I need a stick for a handle. We're going to knock this branchy out, and there we go. Look at that. One stick. So to make a knife, you put the flint knife blade in there. We'll take the one stick that we got, and this gives you a flint knife. This flint knife is used for a bunch of different stuff. It gathers grass. So the third thing that I'm going to do is make a bed. I have the food. I have the knife. And right now we need a bed. So to make a bed, we need hay. Lots and lots of hay. So we're going to go ahead and gather here. So if we hit H, pops up our very handy handbook. Hay. We want a hay bed. So we click on hay bed, and it tells us we need 3 hay grass. To get 3 hay grass, we click on whatever it is that is in here. Click on it. There we go. It says that we need, basically this is 8 dry grass. Spread out in the way that it is. We get 1 hay grass. So that means we're going to need 24 dry grass. So let's go ahead and get 24 dry grass. Almost there. And there we go. You can take this here, and you can right-click to divide it in 2. Right-click again, right-click again. Boom, look at that. 3 hay grass. You can right-click and hold, and it drags it across to evenly distribute by 1 in the crafting grid here. This gives us a hay bed. So, hay bed is the first thing that you can use to sleep. Another thing that you're going to want to do, as you're running around and exploring, you're going to find these. Growing onions, growing carrots, growing pretty much any food item that you can think of. If you left-click on these, you're going to get seeds. You want to start collecting seeds. You don't want to use up your inventory. This right here is a full inventory. This means that all these hand baskets here are giving me a full inventory. This, when you first start off, is nothing. All you have is your basic toolbar. That being said, we're going to go ahead and do the second thing here and make a fire. So what you want to do is click. You're going to want a flint axe head very early on. It is going to get dark here, probably darker than what you would want it to be when you're playing the game when you first start off. So there we go. We have a flint axe head. Match it with a stick or a bone. And this is going to give you better durability. Look, this 105. If I take this out and I put a stick in there, you're going to notice this gives you a durability of 90. It's not enough. I'm going to go ahead and do this because most people use a flint axe with wood handle because that's the first thing that they find. And we're going to knock out a tree here. Let's see if there's anything in here. Probably not. It's getting very dark very quickly. I'm going to go ahead and just keep knocking out until I find some wood. If I don't, then we're just going to survive like everybody else does when they don't find wood. Let's see. There we go. Look at that. Hold down the left button on your mouse, and it will chop this wood down. This is taking a long time. There we go. Look at that. So we got a chunk of maple log. Now, we want to survive throughout the night. So, first thing we want to do is make this into firewood. We're going to take our axe, pop it up there, and look, we got 4 firewood. We also want a fire, because we want a torch. Another thing we need to think about is finding a place to rest for the night where we won't die. I do suggest running into, your basic hills and such. We don't really have that here, but that's okay. So we're going to knock this out here. I'm going to go ahead and make a fire. First thing you want to do is knock out the grass around the area that you plan on making the fire. And of course, use your knife to have at least 1 bit of dry grass. I'm going to grab a little bit more dry grass. Maybe as a fuel. Who knows? That's how useful it's going to be. Look at that. Look at that. We got a bush here too. Great. Make sure you fill up on your food. Alright. So to make a fire, grab some dry grass. I do apologize that I do have my torch there. We're going to pretend that's not there. You click an area, hold control, right click, and it pops down grass, which makes a fire pit. And then you take the firewood over it, hold down control, and then hold right click, and it will fill 4 in there. This 4 firewood. So this firewood then will be used to make whatever. You can basically make your little your fire. To make a fire, the first time you are going to need a couple sticks and 1 dry grass, and this will get you a fire starter. To use the fire starter, you go up to your fire that you just placed logs on, and you hold control, and you hold right click, and it will go until it starts the fire.
This first song is called A World on Fire.
Alright, now we have a fire. We're going to want to make sure there's no grass nearby because sometimes it will spit out little Bits and bobs of flame, I believe. It might just be with the pit kiln, I'm not sure. The next thing you want to do is get a torch. Use dry grass. Use a stick. Okay, I screwed that up. To H. Torch. You guys are going to be doing this a lot. Extinguished. It will tell you what you need. You need a stick and 2 dry grass. Okay, so it was a little off. 2 dry grass and a stick. And boom, you have a torch. Okay? With this torch, you go up to the fire. Right click. And here you have a little thing telling you how hot the fire is, how many logs you have, and what the current burning time is of the previous log. So we still have 2 logs in here. I can take this out. Doesn't mean that the previous log is still burning, but you can't obviously take it out because it's burning. So we're going to put those back in there. So we're going to take the torch, which is extinguished, and pop it into here. And what it'll do is it'll heat it up to, I believe, 200 degrees Celsius. It might be 300. Once it's 300, okay, yep, boom. It instantly turns it into a heated torch. Fire the torch. And there we go. Now we have a torch. And a torch is used very simply in the offhand by selecting it and hitting X. This will not use up the torch. Kind of a cheat, I think, to be honest. But if you place a torch, eventually it's going to burn out. So I'm going to show you that. I do have an extra torch here for the purposes of this. I'm going to go ahead and keep digging underground here. This is going to be temporary, of course. We're only doing this so that we can survive. Let's knock this down here. Make a little hole. This is probably similar to Minecraft. Those who have played Minecraft and have started off in Minecraft know that this is one of the ways to survive right off the bat. You put a place in here so you can place a bed and you can survive till date. So we're going to close this off. You can see us. We're going to turn, gather the torch. We're going to hit X. And now we have the torch in our hand. Go ahead and lay the bed down. Once again, make sure you guys are gathering enough food, specifically berries when you're starting off, unless you have a mod that, I don't know, gives you something that gives you better food. I'm going to go ahead and eat those berries. And right now, in the top left, there's a mod that I'm using that tells you what time of the day it is, what day it is, if it's certain summer, what month, how the wind is. And it does tell you how the current rift activity is. I do suggest using that mod. I don't remember what it is. I believe it's an additional HUD mod, something along the lines of that. But it does tell you, what's going on. Rift activity is best explained as, I like to compare it to 7 Days to Die. So after a certain amount of time, you're going to run into a temporal storm. And the temporal storm is basically you just get attacked. You're going to die if you don't find a way to survive. I always make sure that I have a house completely enclosed with a door so I can hide in it while a temporal storm is going on, but a bunch of drifters and drifter-like monsters are going to show up. Stronger than drifters and whatnot. So, anyways, right now we're at 2200. So, for you that don't know military or standard time, that's 10 o'clock p.m. So, we're going to go to sleep. This bed gives us 7 hours. So we're going to go to sleep here. We should be getting up around 4, I believe. I didn't do the math ahead of time. I'm just guessing right now. Maybe 5. Maybe it's 5. I think it's 4. We'll figure it. It's probably 5. 4:21. Okay, 4:30. Whatever. Yeah. There we go. Oh, and I have to mention this. So when you put down a bed, you want 3 blocks of space above it. As you can see, I am stuck. I can get out of this by holding control and kind of sliding off. I can't get out of it now. Oh, you can kind of. You gotta kind of slide, glide. Anyways, if you knock this out here, probably want something above that to protect it. But yeah, anyways, that's how you sleep through the night, the first night. You know Minecraft, know that that's one thing you can do. Anyways, our next step is to find a place to go. Okay, now I've already found my place. You obviously know that. There is a mod going on right now, or a mod that I'm using. Well, this still is not burned out. They don't usually last that long. I think it usually tells you if placed. Yeah, it burns for 48 hours when placed. It tells you right there on the bottom. There's a chicken in front of us here. I'm not going to go after that chicken. I do have other mods in this that give different bird types. There's pheasant and turkey. There's a crab there too, you might notice. I'm going to be adding another mod that adds a whole slew of different creatures. I will let you guys know. Add that, like yak and reindeer and squirrels and all sorts of fun stuff. Anyways, we're going to keep going on here. To find a place, you want to look for things like reeds. Now, I don't have any reeds around here right now. I do have a tool. If you have the mod, I believe it's Wildcraft. I'm not 100% sure. Tool is, or is it Primitive Survival? It might be. Tool is in place of reeds. I'm not going to show you guys that because vanilla doesn't have tool in it. But these cattails, I will give you reeds. I'm going to go ahead and use a knife. Here. You are going to need a lot of this. I do suggest the mod that gives you tool, because tool gives you a roughly 2 on average of each item. Another thing you want to be very wary of, and I think I mentioned this before, is your torch. You jump in the water, it's likely to go well. So make sure you have an open slot, hit X. I do personally suggest putting it in your inventory once you have hand baskets. Okay, you're not going to have this inventory. And this inventory I get personally from hitting E. I think that's the original. You don't have any of this when you first start. You just have your toolbar. The reason I suggest putting your torch in once you have a hand basket is because you can accidentally select it while you're running around, and it will put the torch out. Not fun. Trust me, the nights get very, very, very dark in this game from the start. Highly suggest that you put your torch in a inventory slot outside of your tool slot once you have one. So to get an inventory slot, we're going to go ahead and knock down a bunch of these. But you want to find a place that has enough cattails. Make sure you use your knife. As you can see, there's still cattails left there after I knocked it down. If I don't use my knife, and well, let's just do it on this one here. If I don't use my knife, it will knock the cattail completely out. It takes a lot longer. Cattail's gone. Nothing there. Use a knife. There you go. Still have some cattails left. It takes off the top part, and it will regenerate. So we're going to go ahead and use these 10 cattails. I believe it's 10, so we're going to guess. You put 2 here, 2 here, 2 here, 2 here, and 2 here. There you go. You have a hand basket. Now, remember to use your handbook. You hit H. This handbook will tell you how to make things. Baskets, in particular, are one of the first things. This is the modded version. This is the version that uses your tool bundles. Very similar, almost exactly the same thing that we just did there. We'll lose the tool if you knock it down without a knife, but the tool gives you a little bit more, it gives you a better chance of getting more bundles per hit than does the cattails. Still can use the cattails. I use cattails, obviously, down here. As you can see, all 4 of these baskets are cattail. They are 5 dry. Oh, no, you see here, it tells you what's in them, which is nice. So these can be used to place as at first as inventory. I'm going to go ahead and show you that real quick here. As like storage chests, I guess. Now, you do get chests from cattails, and go ahead and find out what it's called. There's a basket, there's a chest. You know what? I'm going to show you another thing here. Hit E, go to your inventory. We hover over cattails. We can hit H while it's selected. That tells us what it can be obtained by. Ingredient 4. And for instance, we're going to use it for this. Hey, look at that. Reed chest. So the reed chest holds 8 slots, and it can be placed. However, when you first start off, you may not have these. You can, as I usually do, gather enough reeds. You need a lot. I believe 24 to get 1 chest. Up to you, though. I do suggest it that way, but that's up to you. Or you can do something where you can actually set these chests down. So you see right now, I can run through my toolbar. Can't get to the chests. If I hold, I believe it's control. Look at that. If we hold control, we can slide into these chests. And you can actually place these. Look at that. That's actually technically an inventory slot. Now, I can't select it. You have to pick it up. Okay. But it has the items in it. So you can see here, it has the fertility soil. That's all it has. Say I don't want to have this fertility soil in here. I want to have another basket that I created. I didn't create one here. I should have. So let's do that. Why not? Here we go. Look at that. We have another hand basket here. Can't put that in my inventory. Normally when you first create one, For the first 4, it just automatically puts it in this little slot here. But I don't want these. I don't want this dirt here. So we're gonna go ahead and drop this down. Hit Control, drop it, and there we go. Now that's kind of acting like an inventory. You can't see what's in it though. Kind of annoying. That's why you're gonna want to get the chest. But if you notice, 3 of these slots now have disappeared. If I put the new handbasket in there, look at that. Back in. We don't have to have the dirt on us. This will now be a perpetual, inventory chest. I don't like that though. Personally, I don't do that personally, but it is a way to play the game. We're going to go ahead and take the, as you notice here, it doesn't have anything in it. Empty. I can take this out, put it in inventory, and pick this up. And there we go. Now the dirt's back in there. It works as an inventory chest, pretty much. 3 slots each for the handbasket. Remember, 8 slots for the chest. 3 chest. Oh my goodness. I have found native copper bits. So this is a surface source of copper. That means right underneath this, there is going to be copper there. Tin and native copper and a few other items will show this. This right here is probably the step after you find your place and build yourself a little hovel to sleep in. This is definitely going to be very high up there on the list of things that needs to be done, other than chopping down trees and whatnot. So we're going to use this. I'm going to show you what happens, or what we need to do once we find certain materials. I think I've showed you guys this before, but regardless, let's go ahead into it here in this tutorial. We want to mark this. Once I pick this little bit up here, obviously it's going to be very hard to find it again. So we're going to go ahead and right-click. We're going to select one of these. I'm going to hit this for ore. You can use copper. Oh, no, it's cave entrance. There's another. Oh, it's right here. Yeah. Oh, that's rocks. Okay, never mind. There's one that says copper. But whatever. We're going to grab this. It's going to say ore. I'm going to go ahead and delete this. Put copper in there. We're going to select orange. Helps remind me what it is. It's copper. So there we go. We hit save, and there that is. As we zoom out, you'll notice it will get bigger and more visible. Oh, there's some copper that we got before. I believe that copper is, I think it's right now. Anyways, let's pick this up. Boom, and you get bits. You are going to need 20 bits for your first item. I did show this in another video, but to remind you guys again, 20 bits gets you 100 units of copper, which gives you 1 tool. The first tool you want to get is the pick. The pick allows you to, we'll just show you as we go down here. The pick allows you to get the underground parts, but you get significantly more. There's Terra Preta right there. As you can see, it is like a darker brown color. It's like a coffee brown. Make sure you leave yourself enough space here to dig down so that you can jump down here. Look at that. Gets us down to the stone level, and the stone level is going to show us. There we go. Look at that. Native copper ore. It's going to tell you requires tool tier 2 copper to break. That is going to be your first copper pickaxe. You need 100 of the bits that you find on the surface. So you're probably going to have to find more than one area where copper is shown on the surface. Grab the copper bits, mark where the underground bits are, and make your first tool. So we're going to go back to our base here. So the first thing I usually do is look for Terra Preta, or I just make a, oh, look at that rabbit. Or I go ahead and make a garden right away. Now, you want to make a garden on water. I believe, with these mods, I don't know if it's different in the vanilla, but it'll give us up to 75%, what farmland. Oh, you can see somewhat 80 here. That's kind of nice. But you don't have to water this. There is a tool for watering, a watering can that's made with pottery. I'm not going to show you that because I don't use it anymore. I just put, as a lot of people do, their farms on water. This is a lot of Terra Preta. I went ahead and gathered a boatload of it. You can see it kind of float. This is the indicators of it with the mod that I have. Personally, I suggest when you're playing your first game to use this mod. If you want to make it more challenging, you can obviously not use the mod. Use the mod for Terra Preta. It basically kind of shows it out. But yeah, you want to make your first garden. It does take a while sometimes to grow the first crops, but once you really have a good steady flow of crops, it's really, I see this is mature already. You're basically going to be able to survive for a very long period of time. Anyways, we're going to go ahead and I'm going to do a basic rundown of the cooking parts. So the first thing you want is a fire. You are also going to need a cooking pot. After you find your, baskets, after you get maybe your first one or two little bits of copper and whatnot, or even beforehand, I suggest beforehand, you want to get into pottery. Pottery is going to make you all of the stuff that you need to start. The first two molds, that you want to make out of pottery are these two here, the pickaxe and the hammer mold. You need both of them to continue on and make better stuff. The pickaxe mod, I only suggest using your first pickaxe to get those native copper bits I told you about. Because these little native copper nuggets, or copper nuggets, they have different versions of the copper. I think there's three different types, depending on where you get it from. The type of stone or metal bearing ore, I guess. But yeah, you're going to want to make sure you have enough to make two of your pickaxe molds at all times, so you always have a pickaxe available. Because finding bits is a pain in the butt. And bits are the stuff that's on the top, on the surface. I call it bits. But yeah, make sure you have enough to make a hammer mold as well. I have shown you guys how to make the previous items for, the basic items for the forge. This is my forge. As you can see, I already already went ahead and made more ingot molds. You're gonna probably want to make at least 2 ingot molds. Don't know if you want to do that right away, but that's up to you. I usually make enough. Personally, myself, I make enough to just make enough for a pickaxe and a hammer so that I can make my first basic tools that I'm going to need for instance, making storage. Now, there's a new thing here called, this just says work item. This is going to be nails and bits. It is a item that you have to make on a copper anvil to make chests. Now, I did not know that. Chests are always like my first go-to item that I just strive for. Like, I want the item to place your chest, because they just have so much more inventory. They're easier to make. You can get a ton of planks from stuff. It's really not that hard to make chests. At least that's not how it used to be. Now you also need copper. I believe it was 100 for this here. Actually, it's not going to tell me. I believe it makes 8. So you can make, and if you look at your chests here, these wooden chests, these are what I always try to go for first. These 16 slots, so double what your reed baskets do. Yeah, you only need 1 nail and strips. I believe this gives you 6 to 8. I don't know the exact amount. But yeah, you put them on the anvil after you heat them up with the forge, as I've showed in the previous video. There's copper in there. I probably could show you, because I do have a bar here, but I'm not going to do that right now. But yeah, you're going to need a hammer, copper hammer first. My almost always first item that I make, other than the copper pickaxe and copper hammer, is this, the saw, copper saw. This makes your planks. This gives you the next step in making wood buildings. I don't have any of that here. My forge is always made out of stone, and I will make the floor eventually here. I'm not gonna do that right now. But yeah, that's basically what you do to start off your first metalsmithing bits. So, food. You are going to need a pit kiln. Possibly before you start looking for metal, I would highly suggest you make pit kilns first. Make sure that there is no way for rain to get down in them. You are going to have to cover them. And they're just holes in the ground that are covered on 4 sides here and across. And in these, you would put grass, for instance. Let me show this in here. I don't know if we can actually... Oh, shoot, that made a fire pit. So you would take an item that's These are all burnt or already fired. You would take an item that you make with clay. You would place it in the bottom of this here, and then you would place grass by holding control and right-clicking, and you'll see it'll fill it up to a certain amount. I don't know how much grass you need. You should probably do the math on that. Then you're going to need sticks, and then you're going to need one of either 2 items here. There is peat. Peat is by far that's my go-to when it comes to making pit kilns, because you'll need 4 of them. You don't have to chop down trees for them, because the other item is firewood. You need 4 firewood and 4 peat. You either need 4 firewood or 4 peat for most molds. Some molds, the bigger ones, like I believe the anvil is more, maybe it's not, but your vessel for storing food, and I'll show that in a second here, is it requires 8 peat bricks or 8 of your firewood. Being said, let's go and show you vessel. other than your molds, other than your cooking pot probably should be first, honestly, so you can start making decent foods. After that, you are going to want to go ahead and get a storage vessel. These allow, as you can see here, it tells you parish speed. Vegetable, it seems to be less. Grain, it will actually go through quicker. Don't know what other means. I'm pretty sure, yeah, as you can see, there's already rot in here. Rot's very useful later on. It makes your fertilizer, and it also can enhance basic fertility to high fertility. This is medium, high fertility. Terra Preta, however, is always a safe bet. Just go for Terra Preta. But this food will last significantly longer in here. So you can see this says 14 days. If I put it in my own inventory, it'll last longer. Oh, so okay, never mind. I think I just realized something. Vegetables go quicker. Grain goes less. Aha. What if there's a better storage vessel for your vegetables? So it definitely makes your grain. So this is basically a grain storage device. It makes your grain last a lot longer. It does not make your food last a lot longer. However, if you build a, and I will do this in a future video, an underground little like storage area for food, and you do it the way that it states online, we'll have to figure that out in a bit here. But you guys know kind of how to do that. It basically stores the food in a cooler area, and it allows the food to last longer. So this is, I don't know if it's new to me. It 1.13 times faster. It probably has to do with the temperature. To be honest, I think it has to do with the temperature. But it's 1.13 times faster, I think, than your inventory. So it actually goes out quicker. It's a lesson that I learned. I'm going to store the seeds in here. The seeds don't last any longer, really. The resistance basically tells you what it will grow in. I do have worms here. This is another mod. Primitive Survival, I think, adds this. Where you can get earthworm castings and earthworms themselves. If you place them in your garden, as long as you don't place too many, they'll actually slowly give you a percentage boost to your nutrition. But yeah, that's basically it. I kind of rushed through that. A lot of this is going to be gameplay video, as I wanted it to be originally. But I did end up turning this into a tutorial, so let me know what you guys think here. Hoping that this new mic is better. I'm going to try to learn how to make better YouTube videos. I'm already learning. So anyways, I will talk to you guys later. Take care, and we'll see you on the next one.